Are we live? I hope we are live.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. We are Planet A, or a few of the people of Planet A. I'm Kio, this is Aditi, this is Chris, and we're celebrating our 100,000 subscribers. We got some of the questions from you guys beforehand, and if you have any questions, please just type them down in the comment box. And yeah, let's just start with introducing ourselves. Aditi?
Hello, my name is Aditi Rajgopal. I'm a reporter at Planet A. I'm from India and I have been living here in Germany for the last 2 years. Yeah, just over 2 years. I report on the environment and lately my stories have been focusing on kind of the human aspect of climate change.
Very nicely put.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris?
My name is Christian Kaurla. I am a journalist and a video producer, and I mostly focus on science, politics, and obviously the environment. And very excited to be here and a bit nervous.
And you're an Italian, not a French person.
I am Italian, not
That's
French,
true.
not Spanish, not German.
Just to make that
Yeah.
clear.
No one guessed Italian.
No one guessed Italian.
Nope. I got maybe 30 guesses, not once Italian.
Oh, really?
Oh, the hell. Okay,
Big
I'm...
mystery.
Yeah, definitely.
I did get Puss in Boots 3 times though, so
It's a thing.
that's a thing.
I
It's a
agree
thing.
with that. It's a compliment actually.
Did you write it?
From 3 different usernames.
And I'm Kio Dera. I'm the channel lead and editor. I sometimes report on stuff as well. I used to be a business reporter. Thought environmental reporting is a bit more fun, and yeah, definitely, it definitely is. I mean, not fun. You can get
Also depressing.
existential dread, yeah, sometimes, but mostly fun. Mostly fun.
Mostly fun.
Okay, so let's go into the questions. Number 1. By the way, how this live is going to go, we have 2 parts of the live. The first part is going to be with Aditi and Chris. And the second part, we're going to switch after like 10-15 minutes to Malterova Kalman and Ajit Niranjan. And if you have specific questions for those 2, then you can wait. But usually, I mean, all of us can answer questions. So yeah, stick
do you
around.
also want to say the COVID thing?
The COVID thing. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. We are all vaccinated. We are tested. That's why we're sitting here close to each other without masks. Just as a comment on that.
Responsible.
Being responsible. Okay, number 1. Kieran Haya asked, or Haya, I don't know how to pronounce this name, but it'll be fine. My question: how do you choose your topics for the video? I was thinking about Chris about this question because you do like desalination, rainmaking, asteroid mining, like very out there topics. How do you choose them?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not an easy one to answer because it's not a linear process, at least for me. I don't have a... Is that okay?
There might be.
There's some kind of sound issue.
No, I think...
You're muted?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can
I
you
actually-
mute it?
Yeah, we should also report on technology because that's a huge issue nowadays. Areas, intersects with every aspect
It's
of your
always
life,
interrupting the life.
including lives, environment, anything.
We're just having a...
You can just probably press the mute button right there.
Yeah. Yes.
That's great.
Very professional audio.
It's like when you're calling on WhatsApp and there's a bit of echo, except that it was 15 seconds late, so you're just like...
Super annoying. We need a delay of 15 seconds because, sometimes something bad happens, and that's why obviously not here.
So yeah,
No,
this
not
could be
here.
a good example of how I choose a topic. It's like, okay, there's something that I don't understand, it's surprising, and then you just jump right into it and see. So usually I'm very much in the loop, so I read news, I follow other channels, I see what they do, and then usually I find the news that I find interesting, but not for the news itself. It's more like a fundamental background knowledge that I don't understand, and so I read anything about it. I get pretty obsessed with it. So I read books about rainmaking, indeed, illegal
read,
diamond
like-
trafficking.
You read so many books
Yeah.
for one piece.
Yeah,
How
which
are
is
you a fast reader? Actually?
It's
I don't know how
insane.
you do it.
it might be a bit of a fast reader, yeah. But it's just like the part of the job that I actually like, because then it gets very depressing. Then you're just like trying to extract a story that you think connects with current news, but also gives a bit of more of a general view of what's going on around that topic. And that I think works for me because I can, say something that is relevant, gives more of a background knowledge, but also gives me a story that helps me guide the viewer through the video.
Yeah, you know a lot about, like, you put probably
Strange
like
things.
5% of what you know in a video, I feel like.
Yeah, and the other 10% is just stress and tears and sweat.
We have fun jobs, guys. We're not complaining. No, all good. Aditi, how do you find your topics?
How do I find them? Well, also a lot of reading and watching the news and like reading books and like, I guess when a deadline is close, then you're like, oh my god, I have to find something. But but I think I also try to think about like what doesn't just affect me, or like kind of, sometimes we have like this environmentalistic bubble where like, you only meet and talk to the same people that you also think like. So I try to put myself in the shoes of somebody who I know who is like quite different and has like very different interests, and and like try to make it relevant to like people from all walks of life. So it's like, so actually I was thinking about the topics I've done have been quite random, like from menstrual products to carbon capture.
Yeah.
True.
But I think it's like you can find like a little bit of like climate change angle or like the environmental angle and everything, and it's actually taught me a lot to do like so many different things. So
What about you, Q, actually?
Me?
Yeah.
I always think about what I encounter in my everyday life, because I can only be interested in things that have to do with my everyday life, because I'm a horrible person. So I'm just like, I did stuff on like vegan meat, fish, bioplastics, very like consumer-based stuff, because I look at this and I'm just like, is this actually good?
Yeah.
I'm buying it, and I'm feeling like a better person, but
Yeah, it's very solution-based, I think.
yeah,
usually.
very close to the everyday of people. Well, I try to do it. to the
which
everyday of
actually
people.
makes your videos really like relevant and
Please watch them. Okay, next question.
self-promo.
Yeah, self-promo. Okay, can you please read out the name? I don't want to be insensitive.
Oh, where is it?
Here.
Kamlesh Kumar Mishra. Guess
Okay.
he's Indian.
Guessing, yes. What can I do for the environment as a student? Okay, or as a single person, I'm guessing. Student, maybe also a person who doesn't have that much money, I'm guessing. Did you do something when you were a student? Like, what did you do? Were you, like, already aware?
Yeah, I think I was always like a little bit aware of like how to live eco-friendly and pollution and stuff like that. I joined an eco club when I was really young, which I think is like quite formative. It was so cute.
nerdy.
Yes, so nerdy. It's
So
just
cool.
like 20 of us like holding posters, which we didn't realize were actually obviously made of paper and plastic, and like save the planet. But that kind of like helped me then actually think about what does it mean, and that was a good starting point, because then you meet like-minded people, you come up with ideas. But yeah, I think as a student, if you have a lot of free time, unless your exams are coming up or whatever, then I think like learning about it really helps, becoming more aware, and through the awareness making choices that are, well, things that you can afford, things that work for you, encouraging those around you to kind of also read and be aware.
Yeah.
This sounds really corny, but I think a lot of it is also leading by example. I mean, we're going to talk about this again, I think, a bit later with Ajit, because he did a video on this. Personal responsibility against like corporate responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that even matter what I'm doing? It does, by the way.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had friends when I was a student way back when, like 6-7 years ago. I had people who were already leading by example, and I was looking at them, and just being confronted with their way of living already was super interesting to me. Like, I was not a vegan, I was not a vegetarian, I was flying everywhere, and then there were people who were just like, oh, I don't do it.
Yeah, it's true.
They weren't being obnoxious about it. They were just
No.
like, yeah, just don't do it. And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, it's like a different perspective, no? And
Yes.
And then you also have to be comfortable with yourself, because you can also kill yourself trying to make a difference. And sometimes, as you said, we'll come back to that later, but it's important to remember that you're one small piece, and as important, even more important, are systemic changes, which you cannot do that much about. You can only do your own piece and then just support those changes.
Yeah, supporting the changes is actually something you can do as a student as well. Like, sometimes I think even petitions, you know, can and do make a difference. And
Vote.
every little
Go vote.
above 18.
Yeah.
And watch Planet A.
And
Yes.
what's Planet A?
Again, self-promo. Okay. Yeah, we had a question from Sandy J. Why do you call the channel Planet A? I just wanted to answer this question because I hope people... Yeah, Planet A because there is no Planet B. We're just we only have one planet, Planet A, and not Planet B.
Well, we can't go to Mars yet.
Well, maybe that could be your next piece. Actually, I was thinking about this. It could be your next piece, maybe. Colonization of Mars. We talked about asteroid mining. But yeah, that's the reason. Actually, we found out that a few other German outlets have the same name, but we were the first. I just want this here to make it clear we were the first. Everybody else is just, yes, everybody else is just copying us. So, okay. Next question. Here we go. FBS Edu and Career asks, I'm curious, I guess most of you aren't English speakers, but why doing it in English?
That's such a good question.
Yes. Why do you speak English?
Yeah, I also ask myself the same question. I don't know why. Well, because it's the international language. It's the one that we can learn that reaches the most people. Of course, there are other languages with tons of users, but the true international language is at the end of the day English, which kind of also answers the question on what kind of English we use, which we don't want to be too rule-based about. We want to be a bit more open about the fact that we have an accent and the fact that there is no one English that belongs to one country.
Deal with it. Deal with the accents. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listening to more accents also changes, like improves your understanding and hearing in the brain.
It is true that it would be awesome if we could also produce in Spanish, but or other languages, but I guess we just don't have the power right now to do it.
Yeah.
Well, some of our pieces do get translated into other languages as well.
Actually, yeah. So if you are, if you speak Hindi, a lot of our videos get translated into Hindi on the DW Hindi channel. Check those out. If you also want to send it to other people, who are Hindi speaking, we have them in
Arabic as well.
Arabic, not them.
Some
I think some of them Arabic. Definitely Bahasa Indonesia, Indonesian.
Spanish or not yet?
No, we have like Russian. We have them in Ukrainian. We have them in Turkish. So yeah, if you want to if you want to watch some of our videos and want to see whether they got translated, you can just give the topic in and then basically your language and then Planet A. That should pop up. So yeah, we do not only and actually they all get translated via TV to Arabic, Spanish,
German.
Tamil not yet, I think.
Not
no.
yet, but
not
possibly
yet, but possibly.
soon.
Yeah. So we're okay. God, we're getting a lot of questions. Okay. Okay. Handa India asks, do you travel to the places where you do videos or do you send a team? Which is also a good question. You did some pieces, and actually you're the only person who did.
I think so,
yeah. Pieces.
Well, Kai went offshore, but
I mean, that doesn't count. That was Germany. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you went to India anyway. We didn't send you because your family is there.
Yeah.
And then usually we do for other not for Planet A, but for other productions. We now have increasingly production companies.
Yeah.
And usually we do most of our pieces in Germany anyway. I think every piece has been in...
Yeah, lots of our pieces...
Oh no, for Aquaponics was in the Netherlands.
True.
Yeah.
But, that was in the Netherlands, but I think...
Lots of pieces don't even need to be anywhere.
Yeah,
like when I'm explaining how plastic eating bugs eat bugs, I can just buy the bugs here and the topic doesn't need to be anywhere in those cases.
And if we travel, we obviously, if we can, also with COVID, that's why we didn't travel a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
Basically, we're trying to take more trains and, usually inside of, if it's not too far away, it works. Yeah. Okay, so our producer is telling us to wrap it up. So let's do a change of reporters. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Aditi.
Thank you.
Chris. Thanks, guys. Next. Okay, thanks. Next. Okay. Hello. Sorry, I'm on my phone. You guys are asking more questions than we expected they were gonna. Okay, I need to figure this out. Hi, Ajit. Hi, Malte. Can you introduce yourselves?
Do you want to start?
Go for it, man.
Hey, I'm Ajit. I'm a British climate journalist. I've been working at DW in Germany for the last 4 years. And yeah, I cover everything. So doing stuff on TV, doing stuff for Instagram even, which makes me feel like a massive boomer because I can't really do it very well. But yeah, anything climate related, anything about like how to kind of get us out of the mess that we're currently in, which is like tagline of the channel.
Yeah, how to get out of this mess. Literally part of the tagline of our channel. Okay. Who are you? Who are you?
Malte. And yeah, I've been with DW for quite a while. I'm actually from Germany, a German on DW. Can you believe it?
We've got one of them.
Actually, of the people here, the reporters, producer Xenia, no, actually, you have a Russian background.
Yeah.
Russian background. I'm half German, half Japanese. You have a Sri Lankan background, Sri Lankan roots. India, Italy. We have 2 more Germans, but other than that, American with Chinese background, American. So we are diverse. Somebody commented on like 100K that we're not diverse enough. We're trying, okay?
Also in Germany.
In Germany.
You gotta fight these people somewhere.
I'm sorry, Malte, you're just
It's
like...
all good, it's all good. So,
Yes,
yeah, I'm a business reporter and kind of have been focusing more on the kind of intersection between business and the environment lately for Planet A. And yeah, really excited to be here.
Nice. Okay, let's dive into the questions. There are few people asking about what we studied and what subjects did you oh shit, not gonna read this correctly. Srihari Editil. In what subjects did you people specialize? Please don't laugh. Did you people specialize to become a climate journalist? What is your background? Good question.
Yeah,
Do
so
you wanna
I can go for that. I had kind of a weird route into journalism in that I studied civil engineering. Really was not very good at it.
You actually know something then?
Actually, like in theory, I know stuff. Was terrible at actually learning how to become an engineer. Xenia, our producer behind the camera, is also an engineer by training. And honestly, then I was super surprised when it actually helped out when I was like, I'm covering climate now, and being able to like, I don't know, read a study quickly or to be able to like work with the numbers, it obviously helps. I would admit that I've maybe overblown how useful it is when talking to bosses. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice being able to like see like the number side of it and then be able to talk to scientists and also be able to, from a journalistic point of view, boil things down and kind of explain what exactly is going on.
We both have a background in business administration. From my side, I also did a lot on like East Asian relations, and yeah, it kind of like slipped into environmental journalism, to be honest. But because I was working for a business magazine, TV magazine, and then I realized all of the pieces I was doing were environmental stuff, and I'm just like, maybe I should switch. How about you?
No, I also, I studied business like you, which I think helps in a certain way that you always ask yourself, like, who benefits from this? Follow the money type thing, right? Yeah. You know, you got to just follow it. We live in this system where the money dictates a lot. So that kind of mindset approach helps with certain stories.
Economies of scale.
Economies of scale. Is it scalable?
Is it scalable? Is it profitable?
And yeah, also
honestly, that is really cool. Like, I think one thing that a lot of places maybe haven't got their head around yet is that like it's not enough if you just have some environment journalists talking about the environment. Like, the only real change will happen if like business and politics and news reporters are also doing the same thing. So like on that front, I feel like, I mean, you guys are very ahead of the curve in that sense.
Yeah. And I also studied journalism.
Yes, you
for
actually
my masters.
did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So that
Completely
happened.
forget about
Just
that.
learn it off YouTube videos.
So yeah, I kind of knew I wanted to get into that, and I thought that was kind of a good mix to have.
Yeah,
And,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Soham Kumar asks, do you get depressed while making these videos or lose motivation? Also, I think somebody else asked, like, how do you get out of that, basically? Yeah. I can say one thing. Every time I do a video, I stop doing stuff. Like eating fish. I did the fish video and I was like, I knew I should not do this. But
Because you're
then
obsessed with fish.
I love sushi. Like, I'm half Japanese, obviously. Sushi is my favorite food. And I was like, damn,
that's a real
I have to do this. And then, I can't eat like salmon or tuna anymore. That's it depresses me. But I think it's a good thing to know more. and to like be more aware. And also the good thing actually is, I don't know how it is with you guys, but like my people around me, my partner and also my friends have started changing their behaviors because of our videos. And that's why I'm just like, that's a hope for me. Like something's changing. People are changing. We are changing people's minds. And that helps a lot.
And to be honest, there are solutions for things, right? If you look at, for instance, I'm doing a video now on solar energy, and you see how fast that is growing. And of course, it brings its own problems, but it's also, there are solutions for these things. There are recycling solutions for batteries. And these are things that there are these kind of glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what is really
In
depressing...
the despair,
Yeah,
there are
kind of-
glimmers of hope.
you know, what you kind of really run up against is kind of the ignorance of the powers that be. Like the science is there, it's so clear what needs to be done, but for some reason things are not happening fast enough, I guess, or with the right force.
I think
And
when
that's
you
really
see-
frustrating.
Like you can read through one of these big like climate reports where it says like how terrible the world will be if we keep burning fossil fuels. But then like I've never found that stuff particularly depressing. Like I've covered it for the last few years and I've never really had it affect me personally. But then what gets me really frustrated is then when you see like, I don't know, politicians the next day just like casually recommending that we build a few more coal plants, or like, oh yeah, you can carry on driving your like massive SUV and that absolutely won't be a problem. Like the people causing the problems or contributing to the problems are what I think is really quite like, yeah, hard to work with, I guess.
Definitely. Okay. Next question.
This is fun.
It is actually.
Should we run massively over?
Keep going. Constant cycle.
I'm free this afternoon.
Ah, okay. Yeah, favorite videos of each other. User asked, favorite videos of each other. Oh.
Definitely my favorite Ajit video is, I think, the carbon footprint one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that was a really cool one to do. That was, I mean, the others pretty much summarized everything about it already. But yeah, just this idea that like there is individual action that needs to happen. There's systemic changes that need to happen. The two things actually go together really nicely. Even if a lot of people are kind of all like heavily leaning down on one side of it and being like, yeah, you need to change this about your lifestyle, and ignoring like, I don't know, the politicians, the fossil fuel companies, all the businesses like creating or exacerbating the problem. So yeah, that was a super good one to do.
I think for Keo,
Yeah.
the fish one or the vegan meat one. I'm not sure. I love the taste testing for the vegan meat one, but I guess the
Yes,
fish one for me, I like
absolutely.
that because it's not so much on the map as meat, right?
True.
Meat the industry has been changing. There have been all these vegan or vegetarian options, and fish is such a blind spot almost. So
Yeah, people don't really.
I also heard from a lot of people who watch Planet A, like, oh, I didn't know any of this, and it's really interesting. So I guess
And then they had to stop eating fish. It's so sad.
What have you replaced it with? Have you found a good substitute?
I actually wanted to try vegan shrimp and stuff, but like I don't not eat fish, because I was just like, okay, I did this video. The message of the video was not to say don't eat any fish. It's basically like be aware of which fish. Of course, it would be best if nobody ate fish. But if you want to, like, you can also try smaller fish and all of that. So I've kind of switched over to like smaller fish.
Yeah, nice.
And definitely less fish. Now I still actually have our freezers full of the stuff that we also bought kind of to film and wanted to give it away. Or I was just like, oh, my partner's going to eat it. He stopped eating shrimp and fish as well after it. And I'm just like, oh, damn, okay.
Just catching on.
At least I got him to do that. I think my favorite video of yours is the neuro marketing one.
Yeah,
I
without a
really
doubt.
like that.
Yeah, that was also a weird one to do.
You pretty much did that without mentioning the environment, right?
Yeah.
True.
Like that completely blew my mind. Like the idea that it's still environmental journalism to be like, here's how companies are getting you to buy more stuff so that you buy more stuff even if you don't necessarily want it. And obviously the effect of that, like we don't even need to go into it, right? Like that was such like, yeah.
And I think that's how we got there as well. We knew we had to do something at some point about consumerism and kind of get into that kind of thing of producing more and more and more. And while going down that stream, I quickly hit that kind of vein of neuromarketing, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Like
Go
there's
watch it if
actually
you haven't. It's
brain
really good.
research.
Absolutely.
In a nutshell, there's brain research going on that then informs how companies market their products to us, and they're kind of looking to exploit the little inconsistencies in our thinking and our kind of illogical, irrational behavior.
They know how to turn the switch and make us want to buy more things, basically.
Yeah. Although every neuroscientist will say there is no brain, no buy button.
Yeah. I know, but they, they
But
just
the companies
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. From Shupam Darade, I'm very sorry if I'm completely mispronouncing any of your names. I have no idea, but okay. How will climate change affect developing nations differently than developed nations? Super interesting question. Just one thing, that's the one thing we want to do with our channel as well. I don't know whether you realize, but a lot of environmental reporting going on is very US centric. Like a lot of Vox does good stuff, and like Our Changing Climate does good stuff. A lot of it is very US and like global north centric. And what we want to do is basically also focus a lot on the global south and see how that affects people. And you also did a piece on that. Or no, you're actually doing one, right? On Bangladesh as well. The climate justice one.
So I mean, it's quite a common a recurring theme that comes up, I guess, is that like I think I'm going into these videos with a bit of a stereotype that rich countries are going to be able to be fine with it, and poor countries are going to be really hurt by it. And it's true. Like if you live in a poorer country, then you're less able to adapt to climate change. You're often living in hotter parts of the world, exposed to bigger storms and cyclones and everything. But there's loads of things that completely break that narrative, like the idea that a country like Bangladesh has, I don't know, if a cyclone strikes Bangladesh, then instead of hundreds of thousands of people dying, like as has happened just decades ago, maybe hundreds of people die, maybe dozens of people die. And that's still tragic, of course. I'm not trying to downplay that. But it's like this gigantic progress story of how people have come up with clever ways to adapt, which it needs to be part of the conversation, right? Like at the same time as we should be reducing fossil fuels to kind of stop these disasters getting worse, there's ways that people can work around it. So maybe actually just to answer that question a bit more directly, there's a common thread that Kyo constantly whilst editing me is get to the point.
Can you get to the point, please?
It's very interesting, actually, but please, what are you saying?
But in the sense of poorer countries are going to be hurt more by climate change, but they can still do a lot about it, and people are just not talking about that nearly enough. I think is
Okay, we have 3 more minutes. I think yes, we can. Okay, then let's do one last question. User unknown 73, very creative. Isn't it frustrating to see so much good solutions for so many problems, but many of them are ignored?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Easy answer. Done.
I guess this is kind of the same thing that we've been discussing before. Like there are solutions and there are people everywhere working on solutions to things, and it sometimes seems that it's a kind of a lip service by the people in power who are the ones who can actually change kind of the framework of how we do things, and that's kind of that's a kind of contrast, I feel, and it does frustrate me. So it's kind of that balance of, hey, here's a cool idea, but hey, it won't ever happen because
because politics, lobbies. Yeah, definitely. I think also what we always the roadblock we always face, especially at the end of the videos, a lot of it is regulation. We need more investment. We need tighter regulation on the polluters and all of that. And that frustrates me a lot, because you're just what can I do against it? Obviously, what you can do against it is, vote, protest, do all of that, become more active. If you care about the environment, you can do that. But I think that's why also I was super invested in this year's election, much more than before in the German election. Stuff like that, it just a lot of frustration that builds up. But I mean,
hey, honestly, that was one of the most encouraging things for me this year. The more and more with this channel that we've become oh wow, there's way more stuff going wrong than I actually thought.
Yeah.
The German election, which without going into politics much here, people were talking about climate change here, and
all
as
the
a
time.
British person, I was what? This is there's been a culture shift already.
Yeah.
And it's happening in more and more countries, and the fact it's happening in big polluting countries like Germany is a massive deal.
Yeah.
So things are changing.
True. They can't ignore the climate change question. Every discussion they had, basically always climate change was in there. And yeah.
Of course, during the election campaign, there were these big floods in the west of Germany, which really helped bring it on the map because it kind of brought home to people here that it has arrived here now, and politicians need to respond to that. I think that's a great way of showing, once the people start talking about it and they demand change, politicians have to kind of respond, and so do businesses. And
Exactly.
Okay, just one more thing. Okay, no need to answer. Well, I'm gonna answer still because I started this now. Thank you, Xenia. Will the video demand from this stream be uploaded somewhere? Yes, it will be uploaded. I won't upload it. It'll be automatically uploaded, and you can check out 30 minutes of glory. Yes. Do you just wanna come in and say bye-bye? Yes, Xenia. Camera shy producer. Okay. Bye bye, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the comments.
Okay, awkward
Are we
silence.
Are we done?